hey gang, how are you doing? Jonathan here for Tailhunter Sportfishing, and it's time once again for the Mexican Minute La Paz video fishing report. And this is going to cover all of the fishing action for our Tailhunter Sportfishing fleet in La Paz, Baja, Mexico, for the dates of the 29th of July through the 7th of August 2023. Wherever you are, hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for checking in. Thank you for spending time with us. And if you like what we're doing, if you've been watching our videos for all of these years and reading our fishing reports, please do us a big favor. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, a like, and of course, don't forget to subscribe. Well, if I look a little bleary-eyed, it's because I am. A lot of folks ask about our day here. Listen, been doing this about 30 years. Our day starts about 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's early in the morning, so I'm not quite awake. Haven't had any coffee yet, but our day is well underway. And listen, this could be really, really short. I know this is a little bit late. Normally we try to do these every single week. For over 28 years, been doing the fishing reports every week. This is a little bit late. We've had some issues in the city, including loss of electricity, some other technical issues. Here in La Paz, just like it is in so many other places around the world, it's been hot. Now, if you look at the actual temperatures in the high 90s, low hundreds, it doesn't seem abnormally hot. However, with the humidity here, that's all everyone's talking about. We're talking about how hot it is. You wake up in the morning, like I said, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, putting fishermen on the boats, putting them in the vans to head to various areas, heading them back to the airport. You can feel the heat. Consequently, like so many other places, everyone's got their air conditioning units on. The stress in the power grid is extremely heavy. And well, Mexico's power grid isn't necessarily the best in the world. It does what it needs to do, but with all of the strain on the grid, we've lost power here and there for a couple hours here and there. You lose internet, you lose telephones, you lose Wi-Fi. Try running a restaurant, and then for 3 or 4 hours at night during the dinner rush, you lose electricity. So we put candles out there, try to make it romantic, but there's only so much you can do when you lose electricity. We worry about things like our freezers, our refrigerators, cold beer. Very, very important to have things like that. So that's why this is a little bit late. We did have these technical difficulties, and we had some issues with electricity and with Wi-Fi. So anyway, here we are. And frankly, I could make this really, really short. If you've been watching our videos, been watching the fishing reports for the last 2.5 months or so, there's not a lot of change. The weather's hot, and the fishing is hot as well. The Dorado bite still going on, still off the charts, for lack of a better description. I've never seen so many Dorado in such a short amount of time. Folks are getting, you can seriously catch limits in half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, hour and a half, and be done. In fact, a lot of our folks that we've had who are especially our regulars, after you fish a day or 2 or 3, and you're catching limits every day, and you're tired of chasing other fish, and you realize just how hot it is, they're going, you know what, it's 10 o'clock in the morning, let's head back to the beach, have an early lunch, grab a cold beer, jump in the swimming pool. It's been a good day. It can be like that, especially if you find the right school. Now, as I've mentioned before, I've never seen so many large Dorado. Everyone's not only catching maybe their first Dorado ever or the most Dorado they've ever caught, releasing a lot of these fish, but they're also catching, in many respects, the biggest fish, biggest Dorado they've ever caught in their lives. I'm talking fish in the 20 to 60 pound class. These are big Dorado. And in the 30 years we've been down here, I don't think I've ever seen so many big Dorado in such a short amount of time and in such large concentrations. Now, we always catch big Dorado, but never like this, where you can hook 2 or 3 a day, or you can, in the period of a week, you can have, every day it's a bigger fish, and we're losing a lot of these fish as well. There's a reason these fish get big. When you're hooked onto a 30, 40, 50 pound class fish, and you don't have a lot of experience, and these are tough, wily, strong fish, they're big fish for a reason. It's just part of fishing. You're going to hook some of these and you're going to lose some of these, but that's all part of the game. That's all part of the fun. You're still going to catch other fish, but make no mistake, there are some very, very big Dorado out here. And like one of the emails and phone calls I get very often, well, listen, we want to catch only big ones, so we want a bigger boat, or do we really need to go far offshore? Listen, some of these fish, as with so many of our species down here, you don't have to go far. You're never going to be out of sight of land. We're not 40 miles offshore trolling for big fish. I had some of the fish this week caught literally within yards of the rocks, literally where you could see the bottom. You just never know where any of these fish are going to be, so it makes it exciting. It makes it fun. It means that you're going to have a very proactive fishing day instead of waiting around, sitting in the cockpit, trolling all day, waiting for that 1 bite or 2 bites. You're going to get into some fish, hopefully, and you're going to have a lot of quick, fun action. Now, in addition to these Dorado, and check some of the photos, you're going to see some amazingly large bull Dorado that we're catching right now. But that's not to say there aren't other species. It's just that, like I say often, if you don't leave fish to find fish, folks have the intention of catching something else, but you end up in a Dorado school having a great time, and after you're done, folks are catching their limits in, half an hour, 2 hours, and then they're tired, or they've been fishing for several days, and they go, you know what, it's really hot. Let's just go in, head to the beach, have an early lunch, get into the swimming pool. It's been a good day. And in many cases releasing a lot of fish, or they decide, let's go chase some other species. That's not to say there aren't other species here, because we're still catching some 5 to 15 pound roosterfish. There's pargo, there's cabria, there's lots of bonita, some very, very big bonita running around. There's marlin here as well. We had some wahoo hookups this past week. There are other species here. There's jack crevalle. It's just that we're not catching many of them because everyone gets tired and they're catching lots of fun, or they're having lots of fun in the Dorado. So that's not to say there aren't other species here. So anyway, that's kind of a quick wrap up. It is very hot. Again, stay hydrated. Temperatures are in the high 90s to low hundreds. It might feel even hotter than that because of the humidity. So stay hydrated. Keep covered up. Wear a big brimmed hat. Keep the sunscreen on. I always wear long sleeve shirts. I can always pull the sleeves up, but even more so I can pull them down and protect myself when I'm out in the sun. We did have a couple of days where the winds came up, especially in the afternoons, made it a little tough to get onto the Dorado schools, but in most cases, folks had already caught the Dorado, so when the winds come up, they just come inshore and fish for some of the other species. So if you do see in your forecast, it looks like we're going to have some wind, don't worry, there are other places we can still catch fish. Like I said, everyone who wants fish is catching fish. Everyone who wants to take home fish is taking home fish. Everyone that wants us to cook up their fish at our Tailhunter restaurant, always happy to do that. Anyway, a quick wrap up for you. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for checking in. Where did July go? It's already August. I'm Jonathan for the Mexican Minute. You take care of each other. God bless. We'll catch you next week.